And I can't see it all. These things are always in my dyno area.
Get out someone's bed. Get out someone's bed. Let me fix your glasses.
Did Ray lose his tan?
You know what? The RC car. Yeah, I'm gonna hit on my cousin and see if I can get my net from my house. I'm pretty sure I forgot it. Let me text you right now, actually.
Right. I have this 2011 G37 sedan, 7-speed. It's very, very clean. Thank you for coming, Mr. Danny. I don't know if you watch my videos or not. So I haven't really been posting YouTube videos. Just like I've said before, a lot of stuff is so repetitive. I just want to post like interesting things. That's why sometimes I just throw in random cars and things like that. This one has 3-inch intakes, UPT injectors. It's on 85. The owner of the car installed everything and had it towed over. Oh, it had bigger throttle body, so those are generally defective. And of course, when this car got here, as soon as I started it, it had codes for the throttle bodies and it was in limp mode. So we put the stock throttle bodies and instantly the codes went away and the car was able to rev. But I had already warned him about that. So these were just so defective to the point that they didn't work at all. And he had told me that he kind of already figured, because he tried to start it, I guess, before with most likely the stock injectors, and then he said it had the code, and of course it won't rev at all. And right now I can see that there's a problem with the fuel. It's minor. Well, I would say, yeah, actually it is a pretty big deal. It's leaking fuel, so I went to go check outside, and one of the injectors is leaking out. Most likely he did not install them correctly, so I can only see like one of them leaking out as far as I could tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and have to stop the tuning, but luckily it's already done. But I wanted to do a little bit more, but he needs to fix that. Obviously he can't fix that in here, so he's gonna have to take it home and fix it himself. Hopefully, you know, the car does not catch on fire or something. So this is why I tell you guys, you guys that come to me, like if you install everything yourself, just even though it's not tuned for it, you can start the car for like roughly 5 seconds just to see if something's leaking, and then just shut it off right away. That should be enough. As long as the car starts, maybe roughly 5 seconds, turn it off, go where the injectors are at and see if anything's leaking. If it is, it normally leaks right away. Guys, I have this 08 G35 sedan. Oh my god, like 3 people just messaging me right now. It has UPT intakes, UPT 600cc injectors. Oh, another person. UPT 85 injector, 600cc, and let's see what exhaust it has. It has a pretty big exhaust leak. Oh, it's a single exit Tomy. It's crazy. It doesn't even sound like a Tomy because it has the exhaust leak somewhere in the middle of the car. It's pretty nasty, to be honest. Today is Saturday, so this guy here, there's no installs available on Saturdays. So even if like the techs are here, they're not here. So even if the techs are here, they're not here for install. They're just here for me. So the best thing to do is just what this guy did. He dropped off the car on Friday. It doesn't have to be the day before. You could drop it off, you know, a couple days before for install of the intakes and the E85 kit. But he dropped it off yesterday, which was Friday. They installed everything, and then I actually did have time yesterday to tune his car, but I know obviously you guys want to see your car get tuned, so I just waited till the next day to tune it so he could watch it. He's not here yet. He's on his way. I already put a startup tune, and make sure everything's good. And of course, good thing that actually 2 of the guys are here, because in case something's not right with the install or something, you know, they can go ahead and fix it. If they weren't here, then I would just do it myself, and I would tell George, and then he'd probably yell at them for not installing it right. But yeah, he's on his way, and let's get to tuning. As we have a hybrid Q50 2015. It's actually a 3.5. The car is in limp mode, and we're just gonna check to see if it says anything here on the Consult 3 Plus. Oh, I got that. Oh, I got a good chunk.
Man, my shit fucking full fuel too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I have fuel. I'm good
Guys, I have this 09 370Z. It is a 6-speed. It's currently tuned by somebody else in the San Fernando Valley area. The guy bought the car like that, already tuned. The engine, well, it blew up. I'm pretty sure that had nothing to do with the tuner. Who knows like how long this car was tuned for. The guy already bought it with everything on it. Just say I'm pretty sure it's just, this is a 09, so I feel like it's just the motor was old. And then after that, I gotta do that pink one right there. That one is tuned by somebody else. It has a lot of problems, and it's a half parts and half tune. It's tuned by somebody from out of state. I'm not sure if it was on their dyno day that they do here or through email, but they're gonna go ahead and tune with me. So George was trying to diagnose it, and it just seemed like it was weird. So they called the owner if he wanted to tune with me, and he actually said yes. So once I put a startup tune on there, because it's on E85, he was able to see everything way better. It automatically idled better, but it still had issues. But once I put a tune in there, we were able to catch all the problems. So we're trying to fix that right now. All right, guys, back on this pink 350Z right here, HR, automatic. Car sounds way better. It sounds normal now. So the issues with this one is a 50-50. It's half and half. So half with the previous tuner's tune, which had some issues on it. After that, we found issues. So after I put my tune, it actually started running better. And that's what the new issues that we found. The injector harnesses were not in good condition. So this car was tuned a long time ago. It was a long time ago. So it was just running like that until then. The issues happened with the harness. So they fixed the harness here, and with my tune and the harness fixed for the injectors, it just sounds completely normal now. So if they would have found the issue with the harness first, and then they would have left the other tuner's tune on there, it still wouldn't run the same. It wouldn't run good. So it did need a new tune, a correct tune, and the injectors fixed. Just with my tune alone, it already sounded way better. But once I was able to see and read everything, that's when I was able to tell them, hey, there's a problem somewhere in this general area. And then after that, they were able to fix it. So I'm glad it's good now. And then now I have to just actually do the actual tuning for it, because right now it's just for idle and revving.
Where is my nut? Huh?
Guys, I have this 2015 370Z NISMO automatic. For those of you who don't know, 15 is the year when they started coming auto if you wanted it. This car is currently tuned, well, it was tuned by somebody in the Palmdale, Lancaster area. This guy got tuned about roughly 10 months ago. It was on 91. On 91 with the Tome and long tube headers. So from what I actually heard from somebody else, was that this car lost to a DE that was tuned. So I'm not sure that's why he's coming to me, or just because he knows that I'm the best. But anyways, this car is really healthy. It's making a lot of power, to be honest. So if he lost to a tuned DE, that means that with the other tuner, he might have been making like 250, 270 wheel horsepower. I'm not too sure, to be honest, or maybe even less. So I could not do a baseline because he came in to do E85. So that's not a fair comparison. So now it's on 85 and it's making a lot of power. I can't tell you guys the numbers, but just this guy uses the flame app a lot from the other tuner. So I feel like he's gonna start using the car more for power. And the other thing is, yeah, so that's pretty much it for this one. I'm gonna continue tuning it. Man, this is a crazy one right here. So this car was tuned by somebody else. I had made a YouTube video on it, and it was tuned by someone not from around here. So I believe they're about 3-4 hours away near his hometown, and it kept going into limp mode, and it idled extremely rough, and it was flooding with fuel, and the only issue was the tune, which is in my YouTube video. So after that, everything was fine, everything was fixed, no more limp mode. It ran perfectly fine, basically like a brand new car. The owner of the car contacted us recently and said it's doing the limp mode thing again, but it only does it at nighttime, which is pretty weird. So he was on the phone talking to George, and you know, George's phone, the internal speaker doesn't work, so he has to use the external speaker so I could hear everything. And the customer was like, after solid tuned it, you know, everything was great, it runs really strong. He's like, it's just weird that it only goes into limp mode at nighttime. So he brought it back, and it turns out that for some reason it goes into limp mode when you turn on the headlights. And it does have aftermarket headlights, so obviously there's a wiring issue somewhere, but that's a crazy one. It goes into limp mode just when you turn on the headlights. So I guess they just found out, so they're gonna try and figure out what's going on with that. So I just finished tuning the Y370Z. They are brothers. I'm gonna move this one in. This one's next. All right, so both cars are on 3-inch intake, single exit exhaust, has full exhaust. Both are on stock injectors on 91 octane. And I am uploading a file I just made to get the car started on the 3-inch intakes. All right, so both of their cars are done. And the second one right here, it made 6 wheel more horsepower than the other one, than his brother. So the numbers, I can't say the numbers, but this guy has to win if they race. If they don't, then he sucks at driving. Guys, we have a 2015 Q50, and this one has stock intakes. All it has is an arc exhaust system. The baseline with no tune was 283 wheel horsepower. After tune, 294. You see where it was losing a lot of power up top. So that is probably, that's roughly about 20-25 wheel horsepower gain right there. Very good.
Yeah. You were HR?
Oh, no. Hey, this I have this 2012 M37. I mean, it's dirty on the inside, pretty nasty to be honest, but I like the car itself. I'd get a car like this, but probably in a V8 to be honest, because this is not a V8. It is here for a key. I'm not too sure what happened. So this is George's customer, so this guy did not contact me. The car was towed in, and there's just a brand new key. There's no existing keys. So I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he lost the keys, but I'm gonna go ahead and try and program it. Hopefully it goes good. All right, so this one was a little difficult. I would say I got lucky. The issue with this one was the steering lock. So it still has the, just something you guys can try. Other tuners too. I know you guys watch my videos because your own people tell me, and that's fine. So what you could try is another steering lock. So yeah, I suck at telling stories. So again, the key, had an issue with the key. I didn't really know much info on this car, and then as this was George's customer, but of course anything key related will come to me. I tried to program it. I tried to program all the modules. Nothing worked. I tried to reprogram the steering lock. Nothing worked. I changed a bunch of modules, and it still had the same issue. So what I did was I just unplugged the steering lock module, and of course I tried it like that too. It didn't work. Same issue. I did have an extra one that I purchased just for testing, and the crazy thing is I literally bought this one last week just to have. And I plugged it in, and instead of it saying it had a problem, it would just say there's no key in the car. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a good sign. And then it did say there was a problem with the key, so I was like, oh, okay, maybe it just reset itself or something. I'm not too sure. But then it said there's no key, so okay, I knew something was up. So I tried to reprogram the key again, and now it works. So now it turns on. The car turns on. Let's see if it revs. Okay, cool. So it revs. So I guess the main issue is the steering lock in this particular case for this car, which is a 2012 M37. So now what they're gonna have to do is the guys here, someone's gonna have to actually install the new steering lock back on here, and then that should be it for this one. And I don't know how long this one hasn't been running. It's really low on gas. The battery was a little bit on the low side, so maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks that hasn't been running, I'm assuming, judging by the battery, of course. Beat that one.
Yeah. It should. Is that one on upper or Ecutech?
Ecutech.
Okay.
It should be. I was looking too. I was like, where's this? Yeah.